Good morning. Welcome to the Front Page Saturday Town Hall edition. I am Dominique DiPrima. This show, our response has been our response to COVID-19, to protest, to election, our response to unprecedented times that require more opportunity to speak out and get information to and from one another. Want to let you know, Wednesday, September 30th, this coming Wednesday from 4 to 7, we are going to be teaming up with Black Out the Ballot. We're going to be at Amped Kitchen, LA South, April's Life in a Bottle, teaming up with us. 6130 South Avalon Boulevard. You can roll through in your car, stay socially distant, wear your mask, get some information if you're having trouble getting registered or if you just haven't done it yet. And this is something that we're going to be doing for the next few weeks. KJLH, your election information station. And it's going to be fun, too. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have, music. The street team will be out. But, of course, all safe and socially distant. That is coming up 4 to 7 this Wednesday. Hope to see you there if you need to be there. And if you don't, well, tell a friend. Right now, honored to continue our conversation with a woman who was born and raised in Watts, California. And she is the mom of John Horton. She's also a mother, a civil rights activist, a wife, founder of a group called Head High Entertainment. It's a music label helping young people get themselves together in the industry. And, of course, I'm talking about Helen Jones. Welcome, Miss Helen Jones, to the Front Page Saturday Town Hall edition.
Thank you for having me.
You, maybe you want to tell the story for people who are not familiar. Your son was killed inside the jail.
Yes. March 30th, 2009, my son John Horton was beat to death in solitary confinement in Men's Central Jail by 10 deputy sheriffs that call themselves the 3,000 boy deputy sheriff gang that's on the 3,000 floor. These deputies are known for beating their own the people that they work with, their own deputies, and they are known for beating inmates, killing inmates, beating inmates, and they're still doing it today. And John just happened to be one of the victims that they killed, and that they tried to cover up his death with suicide.
Right, so they said it was suicide, and they said that he hung himself, something that you never believed.
Yes, I never believed that. From day one, when they came out to say that he hung himself, I knew they was telling me, the sheriff detectives, I knew they was telling me a lie the first day they came out. And 7 months after his death, once attorneys got involved, they changed his death from suicide to undetermined. So right today, his death is listed as undetermined.
And one of the things they were saying, aside from the fact that the only people who had access to your son, John, at that time would have been the sheriffs that were overseeing him because he was in solitary confinement. The other thing is that the attorney said the injuries on your son's neck were not the type that we find with hanging.
Yes. After death, our pathologist, she said that they put the noose on his neck after death just to put some type of mark there. But they didn't even do a good job with that because it wasn't even no damage that was done to his neck. And it wasn't really basically all the way around his neck. It was under his chin part where they put it. So, yes, they didn't do a good job trying to stage his death at all.
Well, let me say to you, I know, it's been quite some time, but as a mom, this is March of 2009, right? Yes. I know as a mom, this is not something that you really recover from. So let me say to you that I'm very sorry for your loss, for your family's loss. And maybe you can explain a little bit about, John, and what you miss about him.
I miss everything about John. He was a good person. John was a good son. And John loved children. John was a music producer, and he was really looking forward to, going to serve his time that he had to go serve. And all he was looking forward to was coming back out and, getting his career together. And he wanted to build a youth center. He always told me, Mom, when I make it, I'm going to put a youth center in Watt, for the kids can come through and be able to do film and and learn how to make music, and, and I could teach them how to produce and stuff like that. So, I miss everything about John, because John was just a loyal family member, loyal friend, and everybody loved him. And right today, it's 2020, but they still talk about John today like he's still here.
And just crazy. He was incarcerated because he didn't make it to his court-ordered drug program, right? So they put him in jail, which just seems so insane that he would end up, dead. Exactly.
And it's sad. And he's not the only one. It's people that went to county jail or was only there for traffic tickets over the weekend, maybe had to spend maybe 2 weeks in there on a traffic ticket and didn't come back out to their family. So he's not the only one.
And you've been speaking up for others, for your own son and for others ever since. How do you feel watching what's happening now with the Sheriff's Department? We saw the investigation by the FBI. We saw Sheriff Lee Baca go to jail. And now we have Sheriff Alex Villanueva, who seems to have, a sheriff department that is completely out of control. We have, a lot of conversation about these gangs, these sheriff, deputy-involved gangs that are in the stations, but not so much conversation about deputy-involved gangs, as you mentioned, inside the prisons. How do you feel, and what do you think when you see what's going on now with the sheriffs?
I think it's so sad because all the new sheriff, Alex, all he has done is continue what Lee Baca and Sherman Block, what they done started. All he done is just continue their plight, keeping these gangs going, because it's so many gangs that's in the county jail. I mean, it's the 2,000 boys, 3,000 boys, 4,000 boys, 3,000 boys, just the most deadliest and the most dangerous gang to me that they have. And a lot of people don't know this, but the gangs start from the county jail. That's where they recruit them at, in the county jail, and then they give them privilege to go to whatever station where they want to go to. And then once they go to the other station, that's when they rank raises. Then they get to be a bandino or a jump out boy, or that's when they named another gang, because that's when they elevate, when they go to that other place. But they start right in the county jail. That's where they start at. And I think it's so sad that it's continuing.
It sounds like, Miss Helen Jones, like you have done a lot of investigation yourself into this, because even when I'm trying to read up on this and look it up, it's not so easy to find the kind of information that you're talking about, and it isn't widely acknowledged. Maybe a little bit more now, but it isn't widely acknowledged by the public. Like, this is an actual thing. There are gangs in our sheriff's departments, in the jails, and in the stations.
Yes. I feel like it's not talked about because who it is. Everybody feel like, the police only do so much stuff. They know they're out here killing, but they don't really know what's going on behind those doors, how many gangs it is, how long the gang's been there. The gang's been there since the 70s. And all they did now is just recruit more younger folks. And they're not really talked about like they should, because people really just can't wrap their mind around that it's really gangs. And I mean, they are really gangs, and I think people just can't really wrap their mind around it until they see it for themselves, or until they be in my position, have been, in other words, I've been knowing about them since 2009. But I've been heard, the neighborhood talk about that, like the sheriff department is the biggest gang. I've been hearing that for years, but I never really could comprehend it and understand it till it happened to me.
What do you think should happen? I mean, what do you feel we as regular citizens, moms and dads should be doing, and what do you think the politicians ought to be doing?
I think the sheriff department should not be running no jail at all. That I don't know who should come in, whether it's the Fed or who should come in, but the sheriff department should not be running no jail. And a lot of people don't know this, but no matter what crime is committed, even if you don't commit a crime, you have to go through the county jail. So the stuff that they do to people on the street, people know I still got to go to that county jail. Even if I get a ticket, I still might have to go through there. So a lot of people don't know that county jail is corrupt. The sheriff department is corrupt. It needs to be emptied out. They need to shake it out like a trash can and just empty it out on the ground and hire everybody, take them through some other steps, because it really do need to be emptied out. And us as family members and the citizens, we really, really need to dig in and listen to the family, because the families are the ones that know our children are the victims. They the ones we know, because we have to sit and go look through their depositions, look at the lies that they're telling. We have to look at the autopsy report. We have to look at the crime scene photos to how they left our children. And that's something that the citizens don't get a chance to see. A citizen that, won't get a chance to see my son, John Horton, laying on the cement floor with blood splatter on his pants, hit in the head, blood on it coming out his nose. See, y'all don't get this chance to see that, but we do as parents. So that's the thing. I think if people really see the crime scene photos, if they get to see what's behind the closed curtains, then I think people will really understand more of what's going on. It can help make a difference.
And people are angry. I mean, you see people marching.
Yes.
We see what's happening now, but some of those folks don't think that voting is part of the solution. How are you with that?
Yes, it is. I thought like that years ago myself. I thought my vote would matter, because that's all you hear. Your vote not going to matter. One vote don't count. And yes, it do. It really does matter. And that's the only way we're going to change and make our voice be heard is voting. We have to vote.
How do you feel, Helen Jones, and what do you think about in terms of your son who was killed inside the jail, John Horton? When you see all these folks marching and protesting across the country now?
Well, you know what? I'm just so happy to see that everybody is sick and tired, and everybody out here are trying to do something about it, and everybody coming together. So what I'm seeing out here in the street, I love it, and I hope they don't stop. I hope they stay in the street, because we have to change this. If we don't change this, it'll be the same as it been. And so I love what I see out, everybody out here making a difference, and everybody standing up, and we're saying like, it won't be another death, and we won't get out here and protest about. So I really appreciate everybody of what they're doing for Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, for everybody. So I really love to see that everybody is standing up, and they're not just letting somebody die and not come out and speak about it, get killed and not come out and speak about it.
Miss Helen Jones, what are some of the people that you've been working with, moms and dads, cases that you wish people would pay more attention to here locally?
All the cases, honestly. Waukesha Wilson, really all Jesse Romero, Eric Rivera, all the cases. There's not one case that I wish that wouldn't be highlighted, because all our cases need to be highlighted, because all these mothers are suffering, All these mothers have to go day by day, take care of the other children. And it's just so sad. So I just wish all the cases would be highlighted.
Let me quickly go to, I guess we lost that caller. We had someone that had something relevant to you. By the way, you're welcome to call 520-KJLH, 520-5554. That's the number. We're speaking with Helen Jones right now. She's the mother of John Horton. And, we've seen a lot of conversation about what does need to change. Sheriff Alex Villanueva last week said that people asking for him to step down, lawmakers telling him to resign, as 2 county supervisors did, is un-American, as some of his oversight folks, commission members did, is un-American. And the only way that he could be removed is by a recall, which of course won't happen until after the November 3rd election. What do you say back to him when he says that?
I tell him, if you're not going to do your job, if you're not going to hold your deputies accountable, Alex, then whether you've been around, you've been in the sheriff department for years, so you know exactly what's going on in that sheriff department. You know exactly what goes on behind those closed doors. So if you're not going to do your job, go home, resign. That's what you really need to do. Because you have killers, and I mean killers, on your team that you overlook, and you've been knowing about them for years. You know these gangs exist. You know they exist. So if you're not going to do your job, give it to somebody else that will do the job, because that's what we need. We need this sheriff department to be dismantled, emptied out, and thrown out. That's what we need.
Going to really quickly go to King calling us from South LA. King, I need the short version, please.
She's very knowledgeable about what she knows, but even though for civilians, she's really putting her life in danger, because this is how serious it is for the surface that she scratched. Not only is it in the sheriff's department, it is in LAPD. And I'm going to give you some information that nobody has talked about. In LAPD, they've been committing murders the same way as the sheriff. They go hand in hand. And in the sheriff's department, and in the LAPD department, they have a gang called the Vikings. The Vikings. If you don't join these gangs that are in the police department, when you get a call for they need backup, they won't come help you. So that's their way of getting you, the person who doesn't participate, the law enforcement that doesn't participate, because they're so corrupt, it is beyond words. She's talking about she's known about this for 2011. I'm from South Central. We've been knowing about this. This has been going on with the sheriffs and LAPD since the 60s. And this is a big problem for black people in LA, because we're hunted. They make us want to get down on the ground.
Real quick, I always read that the Vikings were part of the sheriff's department also, that they're out of Linwood. You're saying it's within the LAPD as well? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So really quick, King, because I don't know, where you get your information, but you said, this is really serious. What should be done about it, in your opinion?
Voting them in and voting them out of office is major. You have a lot of blacks who are involved in gang prevention. These black men who have dedicated their lives to do that is fantastic. And the money needs to come to remove these people. And the only way you're going to remove these Vikings and these other jump out gangs from the sheriff and the marshals is have the feds come in. What happens is when the feds come in, they don't have any jurisdiction.
Right.
See,
got it, King.
Okay.
So you're saying federal oversight.
You have to have it.
Got
you
it.
Have
Thank
to.
you, King. Appreciate you. I wish that you would call back during the week on Front Page, and we can talk with you more. We do open phones every Tuesday and Friday. Helen Jones, I appreciate you so much for joining us this morning, for sharing with us this morning, and for all of the work that you are doing through your pain to help make this world and our city better. What would you leave us with this morning? You are the mother of John Horton. I know you want us to remember him, say his name. What would you leave us with this morning, Miss Helen Jones?
I'm just saying, I like to leave with everybody. Please get out and vote. Please stand up for what you believe in. And please keep coming out and protesting and standing up for all these voiceless children, our voiceless children. And our voting do matter. And he's right. I've been knowing about the sheriff department since 2009. My son was murdered in 2009. And I know how deadly they are. And I have to stand up what I believe in, no matter how dangerous it is to me, because they took my child too. So, when it comes to our children, no matter how dangerous it is, I still have to stop talking. I can never let them silence me. So they can say and do what they want to do. They would never stop me from talking. So I just hope everybody just keep coming out. Come out and vote and voice your opinion and stand up for what you believe in.
Miss Helen Jones, a mom of John Horton, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Taking your calls all the way up till 10 o'clock, 520-KJLH, 520-5554. Checking in with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, checking in with you, continuing our conversation on the front page, Saturday Town Hall edition. Breonna Taylor, Justice Denied. Radio Free, 102.3 KJLH.